there are many terms that Trump uses very loosely. China also wants India and Pakistan to be very friendly to each other. Pakistan army is always very comfortable working with the Americans and American army. They work together during very closely with during Afghan jihad. Then they worked very closely with each other during the war on terror of President Bush. So they have been working together, Afghan Taliban, to tell TTP to just disappear from the scene. If you have given the staple diet of Palestinian, the principled stand of Pakistan, so-called principled stand of Pakistan on Palestine, so-called principled stand of Pakistan on Kashmir, you have given this staple diet for decades. Now, suddenly you, under pressure from Trump, you make a turnaround and you say, no, we are ready to go with the Saudi Arabia and other countries for possibly for Abraham Accords. So it's just turning the whole policy. So in a way, it may be just rattling the cage so that if they don't give it to us, at least they won't give it to China.
Trump's unexpected question to Shehbaz Sharif, who is the Pakistani Prime Minister, about India and Pakistan living very nicely together at Gaza Peace Summit instantly went viral. In fact, it put Sharif at a very awkward position also. That what did US President mean? I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Avinash Mohananey. He has been in Pakistan. He served there for many years, and he has served in Intelligence Bureau for decades. Thank you, sir, for speaking to Indian Express. First,
thank you, Neeta.
I would like to ask from you is, what does Mr. Trump mean when he says both India and Pakistan will live nicely together?
Look, Neeta, there are many terms that Trump uses very loosely. Like, he's a great leader, like calling the Egyptian dictator Al-Sisi as a great leader. He calls Benjamin Netanyahu as a great leader. He calls everybody as a great leader. So he doesn't mean that. He called even Putin a great leader. Then he had problems in the Ukraine ceasefire. So he called everybody a great leader, but that doesn't mean that he really means it. Similarly, when he talks about living nicely, he really doesn't mean that we should be, we will become overnight great friends, India and Pakistan. The US can't push the two countries together because there are conflicting interests between the two countries. So whatever the US, he may have some wishes for that. Like China has also certain wishes. China also wants India and Pakistan to be very friendly to each other. But the problem is the conflict of interest and unresolvable issues that both sides see. We see terrorism as an unresolvable issue that Pakistan is not ready to change and mend its way. Similarly, Pakistan feels that India is not serious in resolving the Kashmir issue. So these are the issues that affect both countries. And there have been many presidents who have tried to help us or try to bring the two countries together with working with dictators, working with the prime ministers in India. But so far, nothing seems to have moved substantially, except I would say that the biggest movement forward in recent years, I would say, was when Prime Minister Vajpayee had met President Musharraf in Pakistan, and there was a joint statement issued, and that changed the complexion of the Kashmir terrorism a lot. It brought down significantly the infiltration on the border. So, but then we can be back to old things. So it's his words very it doesn't really materialize when the interests of the two countries are considered.
In the same meeting, he also called General Munir, Field Marshal Munir, as his favorite field marshal. So what's brewing between US and Pakistani army? all is well, because the kind of clashes we also saw over the weekend. So, what's also happening between Pakistani army and the American president?
Look, Pakistan army is always very comfortable working with the Americans and
Hmm.
American army. They work together during very closely with during Afghan jihad. Then they worked very closely with each other during the war on terror of President Bush. So they have been working together, and even before that, from the first Pakistani military dictator of President Ayub Khan.
Hmm.
So this has been going on. Uh, in between, there was a problem between the two countries over suspected duplicitous behavior of Pakistan, because they thought that Pakistan is not wholeheartedly supporting the war on terror in Afghanistan,
Hmm.
and while on paper, it supported the war on terror by the US, but behind their back, he was supporting the Taliban.
Hmm.
And there were many Taliban leaders hiding in Pakistan. There was a infamous Quetta Shura. Quetta Shura was also a sticking point.
Hmm.
Then Sirajuddin Haqqani was once called a veritable arm of the inter-services intelligence. So the desired result that the Americans wanted in Afghanistan was not achieved, and they largely blamed it on Pakistan.
Pakistan. Okay. 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 Sir, in the same region, another kind of a reset is also happening between Pakistan and Afghanistan. What do you make of it? Some experts have been calling that the relations between the two countries at its lowest.
Yes, the recent clashes have brought the countries to at each other's throats. The problem is that Pakistan wants to treat Afghanistan as its fifth province.
Hmm.
Afghans are fiercely independent people, and this is what Muttaqi said in India also. The Pakistan should learn a lesson from how we handled Britishers, then Russians, and then now Americans. So, these tribes are very fiercely independent. They don't mind suffering. They don't mind losses, as Pakistan claims that it has inflicted over 200 casualties on Afghanistan side. Because Muttaqi also said very interestingly that it is not on Pakistan side, it is army fighting.
Hmm.
Here on our side, it is the people, it is the Taliban. Everyone is fighting against Pakistan.
Hmm.
So, and if you see the press conference of Pakistan DG ISPR and the press conference held by Muttaqi in Delhi,
Hmm.
uh, ISPR DG was very grim looking and very tense, whereas Muttaqi was very relaxed because he was very confident that we can handle Pakistan easily.
Hmm.
Number two is that Pakistan believes that the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan is based in Afghanistan and operating from there. Now, the problem is that TTP is really, I would say, virtually joined at hip with the Afghan Taliban.
Hmm.
They take oath of allegiance to the Mullah Habatullah Akhundzada, who is the chief of Afghan Taliban, and they have been fighting together against the Americans. So now it's very difficult for Afghan Taliban to tell TTP to just disappear from the scene. What it suggested the same thing to three countries because there were fighters from Islamic movement of Uzbekistan IMU, and there were fighters from the East Turkestan Islamic movement of China. They were also fighting with the Afghan Taliban against the Americans. So the Taliban suggested to all three countries that please hold negotiations with them,
Hmm.
work out a settlement, and resettle your people or resettle the issues with them. We can only facilitate talks, and this is what initially Taliban facilitated when General Faiz Hamid was first the DGISI, then later Peshawar Corps Commander. But and it led to some resettlement of the TTP fighters on Pakistan side with arms, and that is causing friction. So Pakistan continues to blame. Problem is Pakistan is externalizing the internal security situation. Externalizing in the sense that it blames Afghanistan, it blames India, it blames safe havens there, it blames everybody, but its own policies within Pakistan. So this is causing a lot of problem there. Taliban are not happy with what Pakistan is blaming. They rather say that the ISKP, the Islamic State Khorasan province, that is having safe havens in Pakistan. There is a counter allegation by the Afghan Taliban, which you don't see much in the media because largely the media is covered by the what Pakistan army says or the international media, because the very little access of the international media on the Afghan side. So they blame Islamic State Khorasan province to be harbored by Pakistan. So these are allegations and counter allegations. And the interesting part is that if you recall that Pakistan told us that first you investigate Pahalgam incident, and if there is any evidence, you share with us the evidence. Now, within 3-4 days of the 2-3 serious attacks in Pakistan, it concluded that these were carried out by TTP. It concluded that these were harbored by Afghanistan. It concluded that these were backed by India. And hence it opened the first the aerial attack on Kabul and then the land attack on Afghanistan.
So quite serious. Sir, interestingly, even when this Gaza peace talks are going on, as far as the Middle East is concerned, again, a lot of violence was seen in Pakistan. So why do you think that there was so much of violence in Pakistan? Why were they opposing the Gaza peace process which has been initiated in that region?
Look, if you have given the staple diet of Palestinian, the principled stand of Pakistan, so-called principled stand of Pakistan on Palestine, so-called principled stand of Pakistan on Kashmir, you have given this staple diet for decades. Now, suddenly you, under pressure from Trump, you make a turnaround and you say, no, we are ready to go with the Saudi Arabia and other countries for possibly for Abraham Accords. So it's just turning the whole policy. So that is causing resentment in Pakistan. But what we have seen the Tehrik-e-Labbaik Pakistan, it's a creation of army only. In 2017, army created this group to target Nawaz Sharif's government and open the door for Imran Khan to become the prime minister. If anybody had doubt, so the that time Frontier Constabulary IG, IG or rather DG, was distributing 1,000 rupees to each TLP worker to go back to his home from Faizabad, that is near the Islamabad and Rawalpindi. So there is always a close nexus between TLP and this. Now, after the death of Khadim Hussain Rizvi, his son is taken over, and he lost. Of course, they contested election. They have the street power, but they don't have electoral power. So they lost elections, obviously. So now he also wants a share in the power, and so riding on the dead bodies of youth, he also tried to become popular. Sadhu Hussain Rizvi. There is no bigger issues. There is no mass support for Sadhu Sen Rizvi. It was only his lumpen supporters who were with him, religiously indoctrinated. Nobody else was. And ultimately, what happened? They killed a SHO, and in return, the heavy crackdown took place on the TLP workers who dispersed Monday morning, early morning, Monday, the operation took place.
Sir,
So yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
please complete.
No, this is basically what you have fed over the decades. That is coming back to haunt you. Nothing else.
So when you were just explaining about the Pahalgam attack, also today when I was seeing the Twitter in Jammu and Kashmir, there was a press conference done by Lieutenant General Manoj Kumar Katyar, who is GOC in Western Command. He apparently said that Pakistan is also going to carry out some attacks as big as Pahalgam. So And on the sides of it, Pakistan has been trying to reach out to Kabul, but Kabul has refused visas of Pakistan's defense minister Khwaja Asif, ISI chiefs Asim Malik, and two other Pakistani generals. So how do you think that entire scene is being played out, entire equation is being played out between India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan?
Look, the problem with Pakistan is that, again, I would say that it wants to treat Afghanistan as its backyard,
Hmm.
which obviously no country would like. Afghanistan would like to have its own independent relations with Russia. It has been recognized by Russia,
Yes.
with China, with all the neighboring countries, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Iran, Pakistan, India, everybody. So, but they want this country to become hostage to its foreign policy, rather than pursuing its own independent interests and own independent foreign policy.
Hmm.
This is the problem that Pakistan policymakers are facing,
Hmm.
because his visit to India
Hmm.
is being seen as if there is both the countries are ganging up against Pakistan, which is not true, because Afghanistan is clearly said in Doha Agreement also. Afghan Taliban had said that we will not allow our soil to be used for terrorism against any other country. So, and they say we have our interests. Mutaki said that we have our interests, so we'll pursue our own policy. It's not that we have to follow what Pakistan is saying to us.
And what do you make
So,
of GOC Central Western Command statement that Pakistan might carry out more attacks like Pahalgam?
this is something, if he has access to intelligence, so I don't know, but I don't have any information. Rather, the geostrategic situation is very clear to everyone. So if he is making a guess, I don't know. If he
Hmm.
has solid intelligence, I don't know. So I
Okay.
have no idea of why, what is the basis of his saying so.
So, as relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan are on a downhill, do you think it's an opportunity for India to speak in, and it's a good thing for India as far as India is concerned, vis-a-vis their relations with Afghanistan?
Look, we should have in the relationship with the Taliban or with Afghanistan, we may call, independent of what we have the policy towards Pakistan.
Hmm.
So, like we developed Chabahar port only for so that the trade to Afghanistan and thereafter to Central Asia can be carried out without passing through Pakistan. So, it is not a new thing that we are doing, having relations with the Taliban. Whatever may be, man, there would be differences on its policies towards women, differences in policy towards its minorities, and other things. But the reality is that they are the de facto rulers, and for 4 years they have stabilized Afghanistan,
Hmm.
and every nook and corner of Afghanistan is right now under the control of Afghan Taliban. There are no opposition camps available now anymore.
Hmm.
So if they are the de facto ruler, what you do? Engage.
Hmm.
What does in a foreign policy will do? And if we have an engagement and Pakistan is a problem, that is Pakistan's problem. That is not our problem.
Hmm.
Why it thinks that the any relations with Afghanistan is inimical to Pakistan's interest? If you recall, when Hamid Karzai was Afghanistan's president, Pakistan would blame that Karzai is an Indian stooge.
Hmm.
When Ashraf Ghani was Pakistan's president, they would say Ashraf Ghani is an Indian stooge and India is using its consulates to target Pakistan. And when Taliban, their own boys, come to power, the same story again.
Hmm.
Again, saying the same thing that they are ganging up against us,
Hmm.
which is ridiculous.
Hmm. Recently, even Taliban's foreign minister visited India. Lot many, issues have been raised as far as India-Afghanistan relations are concerned. Why do you think that India needs to engage Taliban on its own also? Like, what benefits or what are the advantages for India? Can you list three advantages for us?
Yes. First is that there would be some people who, or the groups who can target India from there,
Hmm.
like Islamic State Khorasan province is there. There are some remnants of Al Qaeda also present. So, at least if we engage with the Taliban, we can ensure that Taliban would be cooperative in addressing our security interests.
Mm.
Number one. Number two, Afghanistan has, if we talk of the mineral resources, the Afghanistan also has large mineral resources. It's not that the hill on Balochistan is having more minerals and the same hill on the Afghanistan side is not having minerals. So it is not true. So
Mm.
there are a lot of minerals available in Afghanistan, and particularly critical minerals available in Afghanistan. So we can access that. Then we can access Central Asia
Mm.
through Afghanistan.
Mm.
If Pakistan allows them, it's well and good. If
Mm.
Pakistan doesn't allow, we can use Chabahar and Iranian side and carry out our business. So it opens a large segment for us for our economic prosperity and obviously for the welfare of the people of Afghanistan also.
When the foreign minister was here on Indian soil, he also said that India and Pakistan should work out a deal and open Wagah borders, and it will benefit all. So, what kind of benefits was he talking about?
Look, it's export right now, whatever export is taking place from Afghanistan to India, it becomes very economical if it passes through the land
Wagah.
route,
Mm.
through Wagah Atari,
Mm.
uh, through the Pakistan land. So if we open Wagah Atari border, then it becomes easy for Afghanistan to whatever. The large quantities of, I would say, the dry fruits that come from Afghanistan and loved in India, the almonds, the pistachios, the raisins. There is so much of dry fruit that comes from Afghanistan and very good dry fruit that comes from Afghanistan.
Mm.
So apart from that, if things come from Afghanistan, our things can also travel to Afghanistan. So it's a right thing that he is demanding that we should open the Wagah Atari border, allow the Afghan trucks to cross over. There's no harm in it.
A lot is also being said about the China mediation. Beijing also aims to mediate between Pakistan and Taliban. What do you have to say? Some say potentially sidelining Indian influence.
I would say, look, China has a very ambitious Belt and Road Initiative project.
Mm.
Now, there is no terminal of Belt and Road Initiative in Afghanistan as of now.
Mm.
So one way is that from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, road is taken to Kabul. So extending the China-Pakistan economic corridor to Kabul. The other way is a longer way, of course, but through the Central Asian Republic, which are now connected. If you recall, about 3 months back, a train traveled from China to Iran through
Mm.
the Central Asian republics.
Mm.
So China has made a lot of progress on the connectivity issues. But Afghanistan remains a country landlocked, obviously, but also not available to China for movement, export of goods, and trade.
Mm.
So the other possibility is that Afghanistan and China agree to use Wakhan corridor. I'm not sure how economical that would be to carry goods from one country to another country through Wakhan corridor. But the CPEC would have been an easy. So naturally, the China would like the two countries work together, Pakistan and Afghanistan, so that this cooperation can be useful to China also.
You spoke about Iran. Iran is also engaging Taliban, especially regarding Hazara rights and water disputes. India may also partner with Iran on Chabar port, countering Pakistan's port. So what are your thoughts? So what is the dynamics in this region?
Look, Iran is at the receiving end of the Western world.
Mm.
So, Iran would like to have as many friends around it as possible so that it can bypass the difficult sanctions that it is going through and do some trading here and there.
Mm.
So it has no problems with the Taliban. If you recall, there was two bomb blasts in Iran, in Kerman, on the when the people had gathered for observing the death anniversary of Qasim Soleimani.
Hmm.
They traced it back to Afghanistan, Badakhshan province, and the bombers were identified as Tajiks.
Hmm.
But Iran did not make a song and dance about it. They told Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is working. Afghanistan is said, Taliban said, we are working against the ISKP. So they took it that way. So Iran's security interests, Afghanistan not becoming an American gateway against Iranian interests. So that is why Iran has to engage with the Taliban.
Hmm.
And that opens the trading also between the two countries.
There are also reports regarding Bagram Air Base that US quietly wanted Afghanistan to, give them the access. Obviously, Afghanistan has, as of now, denied, but even China was wanting that. So, what is the interest of both these, world, countries which are so powerful in Bagram Air Base? Please, make us understand the dynamics of this equation also.
Yeah, Bagram is about 40 kilometers away from Kabul, and it has been an American base for a long time. It is very secured base, and it has a long airstrip, everything, and it can handle transport, aircraft, everything. Americans first gave up Bagram overnight. If you recall, there was reports that suddenly, all of a sudden, all Americans disappeared from Bagram. And in the morning, when Afghan National Army people woke up, they didn't find any American there. Their food and everything was lying there.
Hmm.
So they left Bagram in a haste. I don't know whether they had planned it or it was unplanned or the developments overtook them, whatever reason. And ultimately, they had to depart from the Kabul airport.
Hmm. Hmm.
And where the suicide attack took place, where 13 Marines were also killed. So the issue is that Bagram is a secured base that any country should have, and that Bagram can be used by the Americans for the CIA to operate, to tackle the threat on against the American interests emanating from Afghanistan. Bagram can also be used by China for ensuring that security of its companies and personnel who it believes would someday be engaging in the mining activities in Afghanistan. So finally, it comes down to the extraction of mineral resources, which Muttaqi also offered to India also during this recent visit. So both countries, America is also interested and the China is interested.
Hmm.
America is not sure whether Afghans will give because against Taliban's wishes, America knows that it is not possible to keep Bagram.
Hmm.
So it has to be with the approval of the Taliban also. So maybe when Trump made a pitch for the Bagram, he perhaps knew that the Taliban would not agree.
Agree. Yeah.
So, in a way, it may be just rattling the cage so that if they don't give it to us, at least they won't give it to China.
China. Yeah. 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 Sir, among all,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Please
yeah,
complete.
please
So,
carry on, carry on.
I'm asking you among Pakistan, Afghanistan, US, and China, which is the country which can, India trust a little bit, because we are all surrounded by such neighbors, and also now US is also quite hostile towards India also.
I would say it's not really very hostile, but problem is that the strategic interests have changed since first Trump term and the Biden term. World is changing very fast.
Hmm.
So first we have to keep our interests important.
So, which is the
So
more country
somewhere,
more important for India?
look, US is far away from us.
Hmm.
The most important countries for us is Pakistan and China, both.
So, we need to
So
keep them. Hmm.
we should develop some relationship, working relationship. We have to develop sooner or later between the two countries, with Pakistan also and with China also. US is very far away. So in the broad strategic equations in South Asia, US can remotely play a role, but these are our neighbors. We share borders with them. So we can just wish away. Neither we can wish away Pakistan nor we can wish away China.
You know,
So
interestingly, Pakistan is in the good books of both US and China. So how are they managing the equations which India has not been able to?
look, it's very difficult. The problem is that US is very open about it.
Hmm.
They say so. They praise Shehbaz Sharif, Asim Munir, everybody. Now, how China is taking this new bonhomie between Pakistan and America, no one knows because Chinese are very careful in their reaction.
Hmm.
They have not reacted to these developments so far.
Yes,
But seen in the broader perspective, I would be saying that they would not be happy. And at the same time, China, Russia have access with the Iran also.
absolutely.
And American presence in Pakistan, that too in Balochistan, will be very difficult for Iran to swallow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to Indian Express and explaining some these nitty gritties to us. Thank you.